Hi, everybody. Friday afternoon. Starting a little bit later than we usually did, but we're good. We're gonna get through this and do some great work today. Today we have joining us my good friend Regina Harmony Jones, who's going to talk about healing and ways that leaders can use their skill set to help the people who are working with them to heal themselves and to help to heal others, and how all of this benefits you as student leaders as well as leaders in the community. So I turn it over to you, Miss Harmony Jones.
Thank you so much, folks. I apologize for the delay. I don't know what was going on, but I kept clicking on the link that was sent. So I preferred doing it, on with my laptop, but we got to go ahead. So I think you're going to try to post the agenda. I'll just go over it. Welcome, everyone. I've been doing workshops since 2009 for the Student Leadership Program. I should say Student Leadership Academy and Ambassador Workshop. And I really love doing it. I've worked in the field of social emotional wellness, as well as team building and leadership, etc. I guess you can see, I see you posted it, Jason. So today, just going to go over and discuss some of the things that I think a lot of people are facing, given that we experienced the last 2 years, the pandemic, COVID. And it's been on my mind to share some of the strategies that I know about, as well as I have employed in my life. I have added it to my daily and weekly approaches. So first of all, I can't see everybody right now, Jason, but I just want whoever feels comfortable enough, if you wouldn't mind just sharing some of the ways that that you had dealt with all of the stresses and the different changes that you've had to undergo in your life. Excuse me. So today we're going to explore those and maybe think about how we can continue to cope better with how our lives have changed. So at this point, does anybody want to make a comment or anything, or have any questions before we move on? Okay, so as I said, we're going to explore and discuss how we can respond to life post-COVID through discussion and experiential activities. So just to start off, anyone who would like to participate, I would appreciate it if you could just say your name. It's not, whatever you feel comfortable with, and an activity that you enjoy, that you find relaxing, or a favorite place to go to relax. Anybody raising their hands, I hope?
Hi, my name is Sonia Joe, and the place that I love to go the most to relax is the beach.
Great. I know that's my favorite place to go all the time, because I come back totally without any stress. Anybody else? That's great. Anybody else have any comment on that?
Yeah, probably I can share. Hi everyone, good afternoon, and my name is Breon, and I'm a student at BMCC and accounting major. This is my last semester, however, but if I would say one place to relax, I would say sleep in my bed.
I guess you
because because I have a very hectic schedule and sleep, like, it's so limited right now, not enough sleep. But if I do have the time, you'll find me in my bed sleeping.
Okay, that would be good. But it's a good place to relax, definitely, is sleeping in the bed, or wherever you happen to land. That, to me,
Absolutely.
that sounds like a plan to me. Except usually if I lay down to relax, I'm asleep very quickly. Because I'm super busy, and at this time I'm in the process of moving. So I have to say that that sounds like a plan. I try to do it as much as I can. Would anyone else like to share? Anybody? How many people have joined us, Jason, about? I can't see the whole group. Hello? Can folks hear me? Oh, I
Yeah,
see
we
12.
we have a good group right now. We have a group of
That's
12
fine.
right now. Yeah.
Okay. Would anybody else like to share what they like during COVID? I stayed inside almost the whole time. I mean, except for going out for necessities especially in the beginning. So I I didn't relax very much because I was glued to the television to find out what's next. What's the next breaking story about our experiences. Anyone else? Okay, that's all right. Did anybody want to share a favorite place to go to relax and things that you could share with us and maybe you can help in the future? Okay. One of the things that I have used and I find that it's very, very, it helps relieve tension. And that's a process called self-massage. The Asian name for it is Do-in. That's D-O-I-N. It's basically a type of acupressure that is hands-on to relieve stress. Now, I know some people might not know this as tapping. So there's different parts of the body that you can tap to stimulate, I guess, the enzymes or hormones, etc., to help you relax even more. So I would like to show you a couple of these. But before we do that, if anybody is in a spot where they're standing, I'd love to just start us up with a brief physical movement. And I don't know if you can see me from where I'm at, since I'm not on, I don't have for some reason, I wasn't connecting properly. So this is something called the Ha breath. And I sent the directions to Jason, so I'm sure he'll share them and you'll get to see it. Let me see if I can get back further, that maybe you can see me better. Goodness, I'm so used to doing with the laptop. Okay, so it's simple. It's 4 steps. You're going to stand with your back straight. All right. Your head is going to be even, erect, not down, or but just as straight as you can, feel comfortable. And your feet are going to be just slightly apart. Okay. Then you're going to inhale through your nose slowly and deeply, all the way down to the bottom of your abdomen. Through the nose, slowly and deeply. And then as you raise your arms up and then backward over your head, hold your breath for 1 moment. And then you're going to allow your arms and upper body, part of your body, to fall forward with your knees slightly bent to prevent the strain on your back. At the same time, you're going to throw out the back with the Ha sound. So I'm going to just show you. If you can't see me, just let me know. Ha! You can't see my legs bent, but maybe that'll do. You go, let's try it again. Okay, up, ready, set, ha! With this gets all the dead, bad air out of your body and it releases things. I'll do it one more time. Ha! The louder it is, the more negative energy that you release. Okay? So let's try it again. You should maybe do it 2-3 times tops. I'll do it one more time. Inhale as much as you can, bend slightly backward, and then reaching out forward. Ha! All right. So that's one of the types of strategies that one could use. Say if you get really like tense, there's a lot going on, so that you can handle that a little bit better. Now, the next thing that I want to bring to your attention is another approach. Now, Do-In is a self-massage, as I said, is from Asia. And what it is, there are different energy centers on your body that if you tap, it releases any tension, hormones, etc. So a lot of people know, say, oh, this is tapping, but it's based on acupressure. That's the main thing. So you want to start off, you can start with your fingertips and just tap from front to the back of your head. Don't forget to breathe. You can do it like 3 times. Then another one is tap on your chest, like so. Because these are points all along under your clavicle. Then if you tap right underneath your breastbone here, is the thyroid gland, okay? I mean, not the thyroid, I'm sorry, but the thymus. So you just tap on that. If you tap on that, that will pick up your energy if you're starting to feel, really tired. If you tap on that spot and breathe, don't forget to breathe. All right, that's another way. Now, there's also tapping along the spine, not on the spine, but on the flesh on either side of the spine. So I'll show you. Hopefully you can see me. So I had everything set up to do with on the laptop. So you want to ball up your fists, but you're not going to punch yourself or anyone else. You just tap, starting say from where your waist is, and you're breathing, and you just tap all the way up. While we're doing this, anybody want to tell me? All along there, you're stimulating the circulation. What do you have back there? Those are your lungs, okay? Your kidneys on top of those, and your adrenal glands right on top of your kidneys. So when you do that, that's basically releasing the tension and bringing energy to that area. The adrenals are known as the fight-flight syndrome. So when you're in a situation that's really tense, scary, etc. So if you do that tapping, it's going to release. I was told when I first learned about this tapping stuff that, like, by someone who used to do a lot of speeches in front of huge crowds, and they said when they get really maybe be, tense about it, but they would tap right over the thymus gland, and somehow it brings up the energy and helps one deal with that, facing all these people, you're giving a speech or a performance, that really helps tremendously. Okay, so those are some of the self-massage things. Could somebody give me some feedback? Any questions? Hello? Anybody? Jason, anybody's responding?
We don't have
All
any
right.
hands. We don't have any hands raised at the moment.
I
No
can't hear
hands.
you. Are you muted or is it me?
No hands raised. Can you hear me?
Jeez. Go ahead.
No hands raised.
I can't hear you at all.
Okay. Can everybody hear me or anybody hear me?
Yes, you are heard.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Yeah, they can hear me, Harmony.
Yes, we can.
Okay, who knows what happened? Maybe it came off of, hold on. No, I'm in the room. Maybe I have to adjust the volume. Okay,
Can you hear us now?
barely. I don't know what happened. I know it's being recorded. Maybe the speaker off. Wait, try it again.
Can you hear us now?
I got you. Probably
Okay.
when I moved around, I touched the speaker. All right, we're good
No,
to go.
no hands raised at the moment.
Oh, okay. Is everybody good out there? I'm so used to doing this in person. This is a test, to be honest with you. Very big test. So everybody understand that you can use this anytime if you're really stressed, you have any anxiety about anything that's going on in your life. It can also be used for pain, insomnia, and menstrual issues, cramps, pain, etc. So how do you think you could reduce, anybody have any anxiety recently? Just raise your hand, you don't have to say a word. Okay, so when you're feeling anxious or stressed, what you could do, just take a time out, whatever, if you can. Sometimes you may be working in your stress. Make sure you eat well-balanced meals. Okay, who's Bernice? Bernice is sending a chat. Okay, so in addition to that, limit alcohol and caffeine. As most of you know, caffeine's been, since it just aggravates it and can trigger you a panic attack. It can trigger it very easily. Make sure you get enough sleep, and try to find some exercise you enjoy doing. Do it daily if you can, at least every other day. I pretty much exercise well, lately I would say since we came out of COVID, 7 days a week. I swim in the mornings. And it really makes a big difference in my day. I'm able to pretty much handle my emotions, any kind of crises that pop up. Take deep breaths. That's really important. Jason, I had sent a visual, but I guess maybe it didn't get through because everything was on my laptop. This is whatever
Let
that
me
is.
see if I opened them on the, yeah,
Okay.
because they came in a package. I'm not able to open them
Okay.
and put them separately. I was
Oh,
able to pull the agenda. I can try
okay.
and do that again. Do you know which
All right.
one? Okay.
Well, it's okay. It doesn't really matter right now. If it's just, because if it's all together in one thing, that's a whole different thing. So, the thing is, what you do with anxiety, stress, just know that you're doing your best at the time. So that's those are just some wonderful things that you can do it. I think I have a diagram in there of those places on that you can apply pressure, and that is on the back of your neck. I'll turn around so you show this. So on the back of your neck, right along here, the spine is here, not on the bone, just on right next to it. There's the flesh there. And if you apply pressure right on those spots, and take a deep breath in, deep breath out, do 3 breaths in and out, and you press, and that relieves a lot of tension. Also, oh, by the way, the spot here, they said they call it the Sea of Tranquility. You'll probably get a handout that describes that. All right. So what can really help about the pressure points, by the way, is maybe do a search online for acupressure or acupuncture. It's not a puncture, but the acupressure and acupuncture points lie along these certain things called meridians that run through the body. This has to do, this is Asian exercise, Asian strategies, I should say. Now, does anybody here get plenty of exercise every day? Just raise your hand. You don't have to say anything. Everybody that I don't see anybody, Jason, because I have you. I just have you in the middle on my screen. So does anybody
Yeah.
try to
Yeah.
do an exercise?
Some people exercise every day. They're posting, hands
Oh,
raised. Janelle, Amdia, Leighton.
wow, cool.
And I have this. Can you see this diagram now, Harmony?
Okay, hold on. Oh yeah, that's the one I was showing with where the pressure points, acupressure points on the neck, next to the spine. Okay, cool. That's good. Great. So I'll just, whatever you pull up, I'll just adjust my what I'm
No,
saying.
I think it's probably easier for you to do it because they're in different files. So I
I'm
just
sure
happened to
they
open
are.
that one because you
Okay.
said it. I'll try to open them as you say things.
Okay. So all I have to say is it's about self-care. It's about valuing yourself enough to exercise as often as you can during the week. You know, like if you can do it once every day, that's great. For even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes. But if you can't, try to do it every other day. I am here to tell you that because I started this in my mid-20s, it really has worked for me to keep me, I should say, keep me on the planet for longer than some other people. All right, I want to talk now about another thing, and that is the importance of time management, getting organized. That's a huge, huge contribution to stress if one is disorganized personally or at work. I know that sometimes I'll make lists of things I have to get done. However, I have found lately that I had to like do more research and come up with a strategy in order to prioritize what needs to be done first, second, or third. All right, so excuse me. So you might I believe a lot of people are probably aware of the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I think that's the sign by Stephen Covey. So one of the things within that book, they had one of the chapters and they talked about prioritizing things. And whatever it is, say make a list of 10 things that you have to do. But then go back and you could I use color, or I use markers, right? So things that are like, have to be done right here and now, I'll put a little red dot next to it. So that is important and urgent. The next thing is I'll put a green dot next to things. They're important, but they're not urgent. There are repercussions in things that have the red dot if you don't do it immediately. But then with the other ones, you can, with the things that are marked with the blue dot, they're important, but they're not, I got to do it right today, tomorrow, that kind of thing. But you can see where I'm going with this. And then you can use any color scheme you want. But if you do that, you find yourself, oh my goodness, I got this. Oh, I got it done. So then the other thing is not important, but urgent. So I picked the color, I think I picked orange for that. I just put a little next to those 10 things in that list, I put an orange next to it. And then there's things that aren't urgent and they're not important either. So I just put a yellow next to them. You get to it whenever. Anyway, I just wanted to share that little strategy with you of that. And sometimes you have to learn to say no. If you're at work and you have to tell your boss, whatever, says, you gotta do this right now. And you know there's no way in the world you can complete everything. You just say, excuse me, but this particular, what should I say, activity or thing I have to accomplish, I can't really do it and do a good job with the other task. So that's when you go and you say, like, what is the priority here? This prioritizing things are crucial, okay? And you can tell your boss or whoever you report to, if you have one, that I really like to take this on, but I can't do it without giving up on something else, which you said you really wanted to get done by such a certain time. So that can also be integrated into whatever you do in your home life as well. So I think all of us have so many things on our plate, family, personal life, kids, etc. I think I saw up there that handout that was Jason, that I'm just trying to put my hand on it now. there was the blue, it was a blue sheet that you posted up. Did you see it? I think you had it up there. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So oh, here we go. Yeah. Balance in my life. Could everyone just take a brief look at those? And oh, hi, Taina. So, and see if any of those really make sense to you. If there's anything that jumps out at you, just one of them. If each person could say one and say if that's how, you know, how does that resonate with you? Anybody taking a bite, Jason? Because I can't really, I'm not looking at the whole, all of it.
Welcome to everybody who just came in a couple minutes ago. So Harmony is working from her phone. The laptop didn't log in for her. So if you want to speak up, please do. Or if you want to raise your hand, I'll help her by calling on you. Because as you know, when you're working from your phone, you can't see multiple screens at once. So,
No.
but you know, I'll read the first couple. It says, say no more often, simplify your schedule, get involved in activities that you like, exercise regularly, take short walks 2 to 3 times a day, stretch, do yoga, intentionally plan out your personal times, treat them with the same respect that you would any appointment. You're simply busy during those times, meaning you have to take time for yourself. Take time out for pleasure. I think the pandemic probably struck us down, right, with that. Didn't give us a lot of time to separate work from pleasure, right? Work and pleasure just happened to be in the same place at the same time, on the same, in the same room. You're on the laptop working and you're on the laptop trying to eat some ice cream at the same time or whatever it is. Live simply and decrease desires. Identify all roles you want to work that you want. Work with people you like. Consider working on yourself. Think of resting as an essential activity. Cook large meals when inspired or on weekends and then freeze them. Have one desk. I have one desk. Meditate regularly. Honor time for pleasure. And then I'll let whoever wants to read the rest go.
Oh, that's good. Could you read it out loud? Is it Tahina? Tahina? Yeah. You want to read it out loud? I think that's a good suggestion. Did you see what she said, Jason? Her comment, a suggestion?
Yes, I'm abandoned perfectionism.
Right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I got to talk about that in my house a lot. We are all perfectionists here.
Oh, yeah.
Two small kids and my wife and I, we're all perfectionists. We got to talk
The
about
kids
that.
too? Oh my
Kids
goodness.
too, yeah.
I'm the same way. If it's not, it's got to be like just like if I'm editing something, video or photo, it's got to be just so. I'm saying, what am I doing this for? This is crazy. That's
Yeah,
serious. That is a serious stressor.
Yeah, my son has to have a perfect bridge. He can't have it halfway done. He's going to be 3 in a month, so he likes to have the perfect bridge. And my daughter, if any individual doll is out of place, it's a scandal. Who moved my doll?
Oh my God. Oh boy, what's going on? That must be fun.
It's a whole new thing.
Oh my.
I was working at Hostos for so long, and then I waited until I got to be in my late 40s to have my 2 kids, and then I have them, and now they're like perfectionists, and they drive me up a wall. I got to keep them up. I got to keep up to their standards. So it is.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. Wow. Oh, I know. Wow. But the thing is it better? What like if you want something just so, is it better to let it go or to keep changing it until it's exactly the way you want it in your mind?
Well, I'm a writer, right? Let me bring my camera on. I've been moving back and forth, so I didn't have the camera on. So I'm a writer. So for those of you who don't know, and the golden rule for writers is that in order to actually create something, you have to abandon perfectionism. You cannot be a perfect writer. It doesn't come out with perfect
Oh,
punctuation, perfect spelling, perfect paragraph structure, perfect whatever that you can think of when it comes to writing. So you have to release. You have to give yourself the time and the space to just put the words down on the page, and then you go back. And the most important process of writing, they say, is editing, which is when you go back and you review. When you've taken a big, long, deep breath and said, I wrote that paper overnight for my class, and I have to submit it tomorrow. So I'm going to step away for a couple of hours, not look at it, and then go back to it, and then, review it, edit it, make the corrections, and then submit it. And I think a lot of students make that mistake too, right? It's like the procrastination syndrome. Like, I'm gonna wait till the very last minute. I'm gonna write it, but it's due at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I don't have time to edit it. So then it has to come out perfect, and you can never do that. If you want to be really good at writing, effective at writing, you have to allow yourself the time to breathe and reflect. So it has to come out one way, and then you get to go back and look at it. I talked to my wife about this in terms of like her own creations, and it's not a child, right? When we have a child, right, it comes out and we automatically say, "This is perfect. This is the perfect that I created this. It has all of these biological elements that represent myself and my wife and my family, and it will carry on this tradition. And I have dreams and goals and desires for it." That's how you deal with a child. But when you're dealing with the creative process in any way, shape, or form, you have to give yourself some breathing room, because nothing comes out perfect. Not even your child comes out perfect, but you make that determination because as parents we love our children. But it's about taking a deep breath, stepping back, realizing that things have to sort of exist before they can be made anywhere near perfect.
mm,
And so that's what I learned as a writer.
thank you. Because I plan on writing a memoir myself. I tell people stories about things I've experienced in my life when traveling to other countries and things like that. So that's definitely, I'm glad you said that, because I have a tendency to edit as I'm writing. That's great. So that's a big tension by telling people that, Jason. I think that's a huge, huge leap for everyone. Because we, in our life, don't we, like, things happen, got to come up, you got to edit it. Oh no. So this is not, it's not it. So I didn't get a chance. I don't know if I turn this around, if you can see this. Can you guys see that? Can you see this, folks? You see this
Yeah,
at the
we
top?
see. Yeah, we can see it, Harmony.
Okay. Tension is who you think you should be. Relaxation is who you are. That's the Tai Chi saying. And then down here, we are disturbed not by things, but by the view we take on things. And you see who that's by, right? You know who that is, Jason? Ancient Greek writer, let's just say. So view, what do you mean? What do we mean by view, folks? What do we mean by view? Is another word that somebody can give me as a suggestion for the word view?
Perspective.
Perspective.
Oh,
Okay, good. And a perspective, excellent. So in our perspective, where do our perspectives come from?
that depends really. Um, sometimes it's situational. Most of the time it's how you grow up.
Mm, okay, that's good.
Come
Now,
from our beliefs, values, morals.
very good. Uh, who said that? I didn't see who the name here.
Estelle.
Hi, Estelle. So
Hi.
your beliefs. How do beliefs form or inform our lives, what we do?
Those are taught, instilled into you.
Okay. Now, who does that? What is that?
Um,
Who
that
instills it?
also depends, right? It's either
Hmm.
your family or the people who are teaching you, your sensei or the teachers, professors. Those are the people who instill values into you, right?
Right. Now, what's the difference between a belief and a value? Anybody? Hello?
You got some
I'm
people out
sorry.
here who have some opinions about this. Come on, I've heard them before. Go for it.
Come on. Look, this is all about all of us are on this earth together. We're all in the same, situation. And we're all connected in some kind of way. And the more we share our perspectives, the healthier we are, the more richer our lives are.
Well,
Does
belief
anybody have
tends
a
to
belief
be
that they want to share?
belief tends to be more religious and more spiritual,
Hmm.
while value tends to talk about people's behaviors or judgment of things.
In
Like
other words, go
someone
ahead.
might value being honorable or something, or
Right.
or being very disciplined in life, while others have a belief, in it. Because values and beliefs can technically, kind of coincide. Because, you can have a value and a belief of the same thing, but they may take a different form.
Okay.
So
Cool.
Sonia Joe says belief is an assumption
Hmm.
and value is more based upon principles.
Hmm. That's interesting. Very interesting. Because, I mean, when we're in a situation, a pressure situation, whatever, how I'm thinking about, okay, something happens and you have to make a choice. You have to make uh, like, okay, something's going on and you can go left or right. How do our beliefs inform or influence what that choice is? Okay, Sonia Joe. Value. Go ahead. I just saw what you posted. Could you say a little bit more about that, Sonia Joe? Okay.
So she said values would be the one to unite everyone, and beliefs can possibly divide individuals.
Mm,
And Estelle chimes in with beliefs are more centered towards culture.
hmm.
And
Interesting.
Leighton also chimes in with beliefs versus doubts seem to be opposing forces.
Hmm. Say that. So beliefs in relationship to doubts, they're like two different energies that are in opposition to each other. Is that what you're saying?
That's what he wrote.
Okay. Hmm. So what would be the role of our beliefs and or values when you're in a situation that is highly charged, because there's so many things that are going on and you have to like juggle all of them? How would those uh, affect our behavior?
Aren't they technically supposed to bring stability into your life, in a way? Because I'm like, well, if we look at history, the first social structures we actually had were based off of beliefs to keep
Mm,
society from tumbling. And
mm,
after that came values.
mm, mm.
You know,
So,
after people stopped, well, not stopped, but after someone, believed in whatever religion they believed in, then they wanted to become a conqueror, right? That's how it was. The value is the conqueror, while the belief is in the religious, right?
mhm,
And they still had to conflict with that, because being a conqueror is not easy.
mm.
Oh, I'm talking about, of course, from back then. I don't know about
Okay, I
now.
hear you.
So, yeah,
So
I think
how
beliefs are construed by society, of which we also call our norms.
right? Okay, good.
Right. And then values, they are personal, like personal conviction. That's how I would say it.
Right. Okay. Are values, are all beliefs values?
No,
no,
Okay. Are all values beliefs?
no.
they can turn into them.
Oh, whoa, that's interesting. That's good comment. When you said no. Okay. So why are we talking? Why am I saying talking about this? What do you think this has to do with how we can
A lot.
nurture ourselves? How can we, what does this have to do with transforming stress, anxieties? Because there's a lot of that has gone on from the beginning of COVID and before, but really out, it was out there in the stratosphere somewhere, out, because there was so much tragedy and pressure, and which led to a lot of anxiety for a lot of people.
I think the one thing that stands out to me in terms of all of this is that even pre-COVID, one of the things that we have to consider, and it's really important, especially from a leadership position,
Mm-hmm.
is that we are often, as human beings, more forgiving of others than we are of ourselves.
Mm.
And so, in general, we impose deeper sets of values, deeper sets of beliefs, deeper sets of rules, deeper sets of constrictions, deeper sets of punishments on ourselves by comparison to other folks. Now, some people can really push us to the edge, and we say, okay, well, I'm not going to deal with that person, and that I'm going to eliminate that person from my life. Whether or not they know that they've been punished by you is another story. But I think that in terms of like, I know that I find this right. If somebody comes to me and tells me, that they did something or said something accidentally, I'm much more willing to forgive them than if I accidentally say something, whether anybody acknowledges it or not, whether I'm willing to forgive myself for making the mistake. And I think it's a heightened level of this because of the world that we live in and the social media aspect of things, and how
Mm.
everything gets so quickened into, you know, the moment the moment it slips out of your lips, it's already in a 5,000 places, and everybody's got a copy of it, and they can say, oh, Jason said this, and so even if they might forgive me, right, it's harder for me to forgive myself.
Mm. Why do you think that is, Jason?
I think we all have great expectations for ourselves. I think that even if we know that we're challenged, even, whether it's from a religious aspect or from just, position based aspect in the universe, that we know that we're flawed, I think our expectation is always that we're going to be better. I don't, I can't. That's me speaking to a group of people who I know are trying to do extraordinary things and make a positive impact on society. Obviously, the other side of the coin, as we all well know, there's some people out there who just want to damage society.
Mm.
So I can't speak to them. I don't know what they think. I don't know what their inner perspective is. But I think, from my perspective, it is that thing of like, and doing this for 14 years and doing the stuff that I did before this, for a long time as a writer, and sort of conceptualizing what people are thinking. I think, when you're trying to be a good person, uh, you really you really have a heightened expectation for yourself, meaning that every little thing that you fail at, you have to come to terms with. Now, if somebody else fails you, or somebody else fails in your presence, or somebody else fails in assisting you in some way, yeah, it can be frustrating, but at some level, you have to forgive a little bit easier those people, because you're not in their brain. You're not going to carry along with them. You're not going to relive that moment with them. Now, some people do, obviously, especially if you're married to somebody, or you have a relationship with somebody, or you have a child that goes astray and does does things that you don't really appreciate. But I think for the most part, it still comes back to us. I think even you hear about that with parents, right? They blame themselves for the failings of their children, or people blame themselves for the failings in their relationships when it may not have anything to do with them. But I think we have a heightened perception of who we can be, and that desire to believe that we can be better than we are makes us more demanding on ourselves and judgmental about ourselves, and assesses ourselves in a much harsher way than probably we do with other people.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Boy, um, this is really interesting. Now, what we're talking about, reason why I probably said this already. I just like, I have, when I'm looking at the news, you look at the TV over the last, say, since the beginning of March, and you see the medical frontline people. I just said, I have to develop something, because the people are actually in the front line, but what about the effect on the family members? What about the effect on the children? Because whatever we as adults are experiencing, this reverberates out to whoever we're around. Okay, so I'm just saying, that's why I said I have to do something, because we've all been traumatized. We are all, that's why I said I have to do this workshop, and I'm going to be doing more and more and getting more deeper into it, because we're also now we're experiencing the trauma of the visual things we see on the TV about the conflict in Ukraine. So, I mean, all of these things. So what I tried to do is I really cut back on looking. I mean, I look at just enough news so that I know, okay, this is going on, and turn it off, because all that stuff coming, it really disrupts your normal functioning of your body, your nervous system and everything. This is crazy. So there's certain, okay, I'm sorry I've gone on that too long, but there's certain things that stress us. Does anybody want to volunteer to tell me just anything, one thing that stresses you, who would like to participate? I'd love all of you to say something, because I have some remedies for that. I have some strategies that can help. Anybody?
Sonia Joe writes that
Negative
it's hard.
people.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
Beg your
ahead.
pardon?
Negative people.
Oh, okay.
Or negative energy.
Yeah, the negative people are in negative energy. So the thing is, these forces, they become a problem when they escalate and we don't address them. So there's some situations that really could stress one out. For instance, here's some of the therapies that you could do. You could use aromatherapy, or exposure to therapeutic grade essential oils. I have a lot of training in that, and I know there's certain ones like lavender essential oil. If it's pure, that's really, really something that really calms me down. Or there's an oil blend that I know of, it's called Peace and Calming. Put it on your bottom of your feet. So if your kids are like wilding out and they're like really jumping, that will work. Also, Qigong, trying, some kind of Asian movement, Tai Chi, that sort of thing. And then there's also colors. There's something called color healing or color crystal healing. That works. Incorporating feng shui or shui into your lifestyle. And then the one that's so wonderful and delicious, massage by someone else, not self-massage. I mean, that's good too. And meditation. If you just spend 3 minutes in the morning and 3 in the evening, I think that you would become more, back in balance. That's what I think would happen. You know, even if you just, well, I'll do a little quick thing for you before we close. Pilates, yoga, reflexology, which is massage of certain points on the bottom of the feet. They're all connected to different parts of your body, according to Asian natural medicine. Reiki is another form of healing and relaxation. One, I guess the best antidote to stress, someone said to me once, is a relaxed and open relationship of communication and bringing up the good times that one has had between other people. So I'm just throwing those out for you to just shake it up a little bit. So, you know, it's like the thing is, if we really, why would one not try to utilize some of these things, some of these modalities or strategies? Why would one not do it? Hello? Am I bored? I hope you're awake. Yeah, why would they not? Mm-hmm.
Maybe because they don't have the knowledge of it.
Oh,
They don't know that that's out there, because there's certain things that people discover when they go through certain things, like certain obstacles, and then they realize, oh, like this resource is there to help me, and then they know from that knowledge, okay, this is there. So I feel like people that don't do it just either don't know or they don't believe that the purpose of it will help them.
wow. That is great. What is your name? I always try to people just say your first name. That would be great. I would like knowing who I'm hearing, who's these great ideas. Well,
My name is
true.
Abigail.
Abigail?
Yes.
I love that. All right. Abigail, thank you so much for saying that. So what can we do? What can we do when, you know, somebody is like really having a tough time? What could we say to them? What could we do for them?
Maybe ask how you can help.
That's great, Tahina. It's Tahina, right?
Yes,
Yeah. Oh, what do I see? Tahina? Okay.
No,
I
Tahina asked
see.
for you to repeat.
Oh, I see at the bottom. I see at the bottom. I was looking at a different spot. That's a good idea, this stuff. Because like, I've been more often than not, I have been somewhere where someone has had some trauma, something emotionally to like really throw them off balance. And they seem to find me. They find me out. So I tell them some things they could do, try to calm them down. And, you know, sometimes even if the people, you can say, is that if you don't mind, and just put your hand on top of their hand gently. You don't have to like pressure anything. You say, can I just put my hand on top of your hand for a moment? And that seems to like that connection, physical connection with another human being, that does help. Because I just feel like there's so many people out here that are just, it's been tough. And now that the economic stuff is going berserk, although it's going to rebalance eventually, people are so concerned. It's just people, all I got to say is like, it's rough out here. It's rough. So,
Harmony, I just want to catch up on some of the things that people posted in the chat.
please do. I'm waiting to hear.
So some of the things that probably would cause you not to take care of yourself is when there's a lot of things that I need to do. When your inner demon, usually what is referred to as an obstacle, stops you from advancing,
Right.
that can be fatal if not dealt with. And then we had people respond to what relaxes them. Tahina wrote, water relaxes her. Leonard wrote, music is very good. And it's a very good antidote for stress, especially old music, old school music. And then he also mentioned that one of the obstacles might be a lack of time. We also had Francine chime in that a lack of information might be an obstacle. And then Tahina, or can you repeat? And you did. And then in terms of what we can do for other people, Sally Sack wrote, we can listen to them. Sonia Joe said, I always say that there's always someone out there who has it much worse than I do.
Oh,
Um,
right.
I remind myself to be grateful constantly. Francine says, be there for a person without judgment. Sonia Joe also said, how to help is to just listen. No
Wow.
comments, just using your ears and listening to them.
Wow.
And then Leonard chimes in, looking for God's help works for him.
Mhm.
Tahina said she likes water and relaxing, and maybe sharing that obviously with somebody else is good.
Wow. I agree. Totally agree. Ooh, that's wonderful. This is like, you know, we are all so much richer when we bring ourselves collectively together as a community and share in terms of the different perspectives, because this is just, I'm just pretty impressed with these your people. And then this is a new group, right, Jason? Is it starting recently?
For the most part, we have some older folks from
Old schools, people from the old school? Great.
old school,
Well,
old school.
what everybody's saying is that I think you have a lot of resilient people because the fact of the comments that are made. Um, the title of this, I didn't even get to post post the agenda, which is called Transforming Stress, Self-Nurturing Resiliency Post-COVID Leadership Series. So, resilience. Does anybody know? Give me a definition of resilience or a perspective on it. Well, I'll tell you what. How about I throw out a definition? Okay. The ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. Could be emotional resilience or physical resilience. You with me, everybody? Somebody called and broke into my Zoom. So how about that? It sounds like all of you are very resilient. The ideas and comments that everyone has been saying is just amazing to me. Right, Jason?
I'm always impressed with the folks who are
Wow.
here.
Well, let me just throw this out and then, people could say or take it from there. Psychologists define resilience as the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or significant sources of stress, such as family and relationship problems, serious health problems, or workplace and financial stressors. So I just want to throw that out. I think that's what sometimes when I'm in group, when we're talking about different things, I like, I have to go, let's open up my phone and look up at the definitions, because I think a lot of words we use, they're like, as who is it was saying, those are like values that we learned from the beginning. I think it was the first gentleman that was speaking. I can get everybody's name, but that's great. So if anybody, what makes you resilient? Does anybody have so many great tricks that they know or strategies or steps that they do when, like, okay, bam, you get what do you call it? Blindsided. And what do you do? How do you handle the next thing? I got blindsided recently by something really, really, whew, boy, really interesting. Seriously blindsided. So did anybody else want to make a comment on that? We don't. I haven't pushed that. I'm not saying you have to, but
I think
I think
resilience.
gratitude.
say that again. Gratitude. Great. Beautiful. Beautiful.
I really feel like in certain situations, you can realize how your situation isn't that bad. Someone probably has worse than you, and you should just be grateful of the good things in the moment. Even though it's hard to see, like, just being grateful that you're alive, that you probably ate in, that you slept, or you have a bed, or you have a roof over your house. So that's something that gets people away from the obstacles and stress and the confusions of burdens that surround them. Yeah.
Right. Very good. Excellent. I like that. Because that's what I do. I said, no matter what, it could be worse with things. Recently, I had an agreement, a contract with someone, and the day before it was supposed to go through, and it was a legal binding contract with an attorney. And it was a process that going on for like at least 3 months. And then all of a sudden, boom, they changed their mind. I said, oh boy, so I just realized that it, obviously the person has some kind of like emotional, psychological, mental, some kind of disability that they would do something like that. We're not even in other people's bodies, our minds. But what you said is great, because we're all, if we can just realize that everybody is who they are based on what their previous, what can I say? Their previous experiences. You don't know what happened in their childhood. You don't know what things that happened to them to maybe throw them off balance, and just say, obviously, it's not, I mean, I don't look at it as negative, is that they're doing something bad, even though it was bad for me. I just say that, oh, okay, what do I have to learn from this experience? I may think it's a negative thing, but what I say to myself, I said, what do I have to learn from it? There's always a lesson in it somewhere. Might be hidden, but it's there.
So Sonia Joe has her hand raised.
Cool, I want to hear.
I would say that what makes me resilient is where I'm from, my upbringing, my mom. I feel like my mom, as a single mother, she went hard for me. She tried and she made sure, she has two of us, two daughters, and she made sure that she did her very best to make sure that we had some type of an education, even if it's not the college or university. My mom didn't go to high school, and so she made sure her daughters were able to finish that in order to go to college. And I saw how she worked really, really hard. Even when she's tired, she kept going. And I made a promise to myself when I was younger. I said, Mom, and I made a promise to myself, and I made a promise to her. You went hard for me. Now I'm gonna go harder for you. And so when I feel like I can't continue, I remember where I'm coming from, and that is exactly what motivates me to keep going. So
wow, yeah. That is very admirable, and you're really honoring your parent. And I've seen a lot of things like that happen. It's a lot of different people. Boy, you just say, how did you keep going? And I would say, especially from my experience and exposure during my life, I've seen like how people, I just wonder how in the world people survived slavery. But they did, and they made sure, like your mom, not that she was involved in that, she made sure, in spite of it, that you all were given that mission, the value to value education, and to make sure that you appreciated her sacrifice by excelling and by moving forward toward the goals she would want you to have. Does that make any sense to you? I really think it's amazing that and stories I've heard, I said, boy, how did they get through and do this? And it's amazing. That's what I have to say. I get stories from over the years from my mom, God rest her soul, of things that people went through to survive in our society. Because there's been a big imbalance, I would say, in many communities, but they're still achieving, and you should be pat yourself on the back. In fact, everybody just take. Here I am. I'm showing you all. Just pat yourself on the back. Okay.
So Harmony, you have two hands, Abby, and then Tahina.
I'd love to hear. Go ahead.
Since we were speaking about mothers, I just want to add some information about what my mother told me the other day. You know, we all been through our fair times and fair struggles. And she told me how when you're put in an obstacle or when someone makes you suffer or someone gives you pain, you have to realize that that person is giving you strength. And from that pain and that suffering, you'll grow to learn and do better. And when something like that happens again, you'll know the wiser choice to make, you know? So that's just something I wanted to add in since we're talking about our moms and stuff. And, you know, moms go through a lot, dads too, you know, and a wisdom from a parent is something, it's pretty much a blessing because it helps you progress in life and it helps you realize that certain things, you can overcome them by just, as you said before, by learning from it and taking it as a lesson. Yes.
Right. It's great. There's some really amazing moms out here that I have met over the years. Boy, what they went through, you know, kids on drugs and all this kind of craziness. Whew. Oh my goodness. Where's the other hand? Where are they? You said there were two hands, Jason?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see this dog and cat kissing, but go ahead. It's cute.
Like how everybody else is talking about their mom. And when I was in school, I got bullied a lot. And I really wanted to drop out and just get a GED, but my mom told me, like, you're too beautiful of a person, you're too smart to just give up on anything just because people are bullying you. When people bully you, they're telling you what they're going through or they're showing you how they feel about themselves. That doesn't define who you are as a person. But me, I didn't give up and I graduated high school on time and now I'm in college on the honor roll. So I thank God I listened to my mom.
If somebody have a lot of kids in the background, could somebody just mute your mic? Would that be okay? Maybe that's Jason. I don't know. You with me, Weber? Okay, thank you. That is amazing. You see,
Estelle has her hand raised. I also want to mention this from a comment Leonard wrote in the chat that what makes him resilient is knowing that things that usually go bad in life don't stay that way forever. And everybody kind of agreed with him.
I agree, definitely. Yep, it's not always going to be that way. That's good, Leonard. Thank you for sharing that. Who else is with us? Who's the other person, Jason?
Yeah, it's Estelle.
Hi, Estelle.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on the comments on the what makes you resilient. Like with mine, I heard who was talking before about her mother. She wanna do harder. She wanna go harder for her mom and whatnot. So that was kind of like it came from a positive note. My resilience comes from a negative would I say childhood. Like I first I was that child in the family who was rejected, you know, mistreated, looked down upon. Like you are the dumb one, you are the ugly one, you are everything bad was on me, even though it wasn't true. But you know, when adults are speaking, you know, you tend to believe it. So yeah, and then I wasn't supported or taken care of like my siblings or my cousins whom were with in their house. Um nevertheless, my mother, you know, she was the one who kind of like did whatever she was doing, the little businesses and whatnot, in order for me to graduate, to finish like high school, from primary to high school. So I as a result, I grew up, I developed anger towards, of course, it's my father and his family. I became resentful, and I would fight other students because of other children, people's children, because of that. I just became a rebel. I was smart, intelligent, and all that. So whatever they were saying, it was the opposite of me. But when I got the chance to come to United States, and I found a way of enrolling into college, I made it my business that I am gonna do whatever it takes to prove these people wrong. I am going to get that education that they didn't want to give me, that they didn't want me to go to college, they didn't want me to have education whatsoever. So I am going to do it. So that's where my resilience comes from. And I am determined to go as high as I can. First of all, I'm the first one to travel out of Africa from my country, from my family. That one does it by itself.
You are successful. You
Yeah,
don't
so
have to do
that's where
anything else.
my resilience is coming from. I'm like, watch me. So when I got my associates from Hostos, guess what? I went on that plane in 2018 with my associate degree, with my gown and everything, took pictures in Zambia. I gave it to my father. I said, Dada, look at this degree. You and your family, see.
There
So
you go.
but I'm good now. I'm good. I was saying it from the, you know, good place. So that's where my resilience comes from.
Well, there you go. That energy, that negative energy, can you say propelled you to the highest of the high is success, no matter what it is. The fact that you could, and that you had the what can I say, the wherewithal to say, let me get on this plane and go back to Zambia, and this is who I really am, not what you people said and how you treated me. Good for you. Bravo. That's very good. That's good. You did a good one. And I know you're not finished. That's great. Thank you so much. Woo. Who else? Was anybody else wanted to say something? Jason, I don't have access. I'm just looking at, hearing and listening to the comments. This is fantastic.
So everybody's given like props to Sonia and to Estelle and to Abby, and we have Francine said there's no. I think she's saying there's no limit to our minds or our possibilities. And Leonard says sometimes pressure yields diamonds. We all stay humble. Great things proceed from it, and stay the course. And he's shouts out Estelle. And people are giving some thumbs up, some claps, some great, a lot of stuff. It's flashing by me, and I saw that Tahina wanted to speak again. Is that right, Tahina?
Yes, I want to say one more thing. That what makes me resilient is I didn't grow up with, I know who my father is, but I didn't grow up with him in the picture. And my mom told me that you don't have to depend on a man for nothing, not even your father. And anything a man could give you, could get it by yourself. So me being 21 now, I still don't talk to my father because he's not a positive light in my life. So anything, it could be a close friend, it could be your best friend, it could be family. If they're not positive towards you or supporting you with any of your goals or dreams, you don't need them in your life.
There you
So I
go.
think that's what makes me resilient, being independent.
Well, you certainly said it. That's for sure. It's pretty amazing what you folks have said. I mean, this is, you know, when soon as COVID jumped off and I lost my job, you know, one of my jobs, the main job. I was like, okay. So then a friend, I think was by the end of April, said, we kind of got together on WhatsApp and on the phone. And we were like, just talking about what things are going on, how life is different, what can we do to nourish each other and get things better, etc. So we started talking just like we're talking today. And so I have a lot more to share with you folks. I hope we can do this again soon. So let me just ask this question. What nourishes you emotionally and spiritually? I'm not talking about what entertains you or flatters you or takes your mind off your problems. I'm referring to the influences that make you stronger and the people who see you for who you really are, and the situations that teach you lifelong lessons. I mean, the beauty that replenishes your psyche and the symbols that consistently restore your balance, and the memories that keep feeding your ability to rise to each new challenge. I invite you to take inventory of these precious assets and then make a special point of nurturing them back. I just wanted to share that with you folks because you folks are so on point with everything. So I was just a little bit of a quote that I had stuck away somewhere. Wow. This is so, Jason, where'd you get these people from? They're amazing.
I got them from the college that I work at, which is the Jewel of the South Bronx, and they come from the Bronx just like me. And I was reflecting. I've heard Estelle speak a lot of times, so we're all friends. But it reminded me of something, an experience that I went through in college, and I thought maybe I'd share it in terms of like overcoming the obstacles.
Right.
I was from the Bronx. I was raised here. Well, we're not in the Bronx right now, but I was raised in the Bronx and lived there for 50 years, and went to school there. And then finally got to college, went to community college, and started there. And then eventually got to the University at Albany for my bachelor's degree. And I was sitting in a class that I thought I needed to take that sounded like it was kind of interesting, which was called Philosophy of Law. And I know most of you, if you think about exactly what that means, you're probably like, oh my God, what the heck is that? And I kind of was like that every day in class. At some point, I did what a lot of students do is I went to visit the professor during office hours and said, I don't really know what's going on. And the professor said, well, do you ever ask any questions? Because you never raise your hand. And something flashed in my head about a person in my life who told me that I shouldn't raise my hand when I was younger because it showed how stupid I was.
Whoa.
And so it was a really reflective moment at that point. I actually broke down in tears with the professor. But I came to an understanding about that in terms of my life and in terms of the effect that other people can have on you. It can completely stall you in your process and in your goals, because if you and it may not be apparent, it may be something that's been stuck in your head from a life experience that happened to you when you were a child, when you were a teenager, when before you could even recognize that somebody was putting an obstacle in your brain. It was already there for me, right before I could even make any of those decisions about my life. And so it was probably a stumbling block for a very long time for me. And then that moment, of realization, right, those words coming out of my own mouth, right, in reference to, this simple action that we take for granted, the power of raising one's hand. Even in Zoom, it's so powerful, right? You raise your hand in Zoom and you have the opportunity to hold the floor. You raise your hand in the classroom, you have the opportunity to hold the floor and speak and express yourself and really share what's going on in your life. And as we've seen today with some of the folks who have spoken, it can be extremely powerful. But I think it's one of those moments, and I think we all have those things inside of us that we have to overcome, that we don't even know sometimes that they're there. And what's glorious about people who go to Hostos, people who I meet on my journey over the 14 years that I've been at Hostos, is that they are some of the most extraordinary people that I could ever imagine. And I'll follow it up with this story. I woke up this morning from a dream with my former students. We didn't get to do the Model UN this year. It was a dream that we were at the Model UN, and it wasn't just a couple of students. It was like a whole group of the students who had gone there with me. And they were all just there, all dressed to the nines, all ready to do what they were going to do, all referencing, the success that they had in their lives. And I woke up with the biggest smile on my face because I felt like I wanted to go back to that dream and be able to sit and talk to those folks. As it is, I'm very lucky in my life to be able to continue to have conversations with people who graduate from Hostos, even back in the day in 2007, when I first got here in 2008. They're still friends, have gone on to do extraordinary things. We have a United States diplomat amongst our mix, a doctor, who was texting me, 2 weeks ago, and just for the pure pleasure of like saying, "Hey, Jason, how you doing?" And I may be going to a new hospital, down south, the whole thing. So I enjoy that, but I definitely woke up this morning with the thoughts of these folks who I had not spoken to in a while. Just this whole idea that they had come together again, and I was part of it, and we could have those conversations. So these days that we spend together, these Fridays, which sometimes seem like, okay, it started late, or not everybody's here, whatever the situation is. These are what I live for. I My whole life in terms of Hostos gets encapsulated in a Zoom box, unfortunately, for the most part, until we get back to normal, where we go out and we do the conferences, where we do out and doing 52 volunteer projects a year, where we can meet in our own space and talk. I was trying to pull up that picture that I shared with you, Harmony, from earlier this week. So Harmony mentioned that when she used to come to the campus, we did a lot of team building activities. And for multiple years, we took photos of a group of 20 to 25 people with their hands all together like this. They have to keep a ball rolling down a slope. And so there's a picture with Harmony at the center of it, and like 25 people, with their hands all together working to make this ball go down this slope. And I relish those moments. I live for those moments. I live for the time that we get back to that. It's not that I don't value all of you and what you contribute here. It's just that, it's what I miss. So I think that's probably why I had that dream last night, of George and Dario and Adrian and all the others who were there, who were talking to me and telling me what, all the accomplishments that they had, and coming together and like being excited about being together again. And I'm looking forward to that time. But I really appreciate all of you and the contributions that you make each week. Know that it leaves me wanting to do more. It leaves me wanting to bring in more speakers, create more opportunities, got all of you more involved. I was so excited about the idea of having the retreat this year, and everybody had to slow me down. Because I had already put away money for us to go out to camp and do the high ropes and the low ropes and everything. And I'm looking forward to, and I wrote to people, like I said, yes, we're going to make it happen. And because I've been there, and I know how valuable it is for us to all be in the room in real space, because that is actually an uplifting that maybe we take for granted sometimes. When we're all together and we can actually all talk to each other, look each other in the eye, do these team building things, and work towards a common goal, face to face, hand to hand, with support of each other, anything can be done. I mean, my favorite story from the retreat is my good friend Destiny, who is in a wheelchair, agreed to do the climbing wall, and everybody chipped in to make sure that Destiny could do the climbing wall.
Wow.
She went on the retreat thinking that she maybe wouldn't do it, but ultimately made the decision. It's one of my favorite pictures in the world, but it's more than that. It's one of my favorite memories of my entire time at Hostos, because it showed the determination first of Destiny, but also when you heard everybody who supported her, the folks who helped her up out of the chair, the folks who helped her up into the first few steps of steps of the wall, the people who spotted, the people who were cheering her on. That's what we are. I mean, that's the community that we are. That's how we engage with one another, in true love and in the spirit of developing excellence amongst our mixed. Because as you all well know, when you go out into that society that we all live in you take on those leadership roles, you really have to be the best of the best. And that comes from the inside going out. And by being here and participating in these things, I think you've set the stage for yourself. And I think it's just a matter of time before you leak it out into the rest of the world, or actually spread it with great joy to the rest of the world. And those when I mention Sam or Alvin, our diplomat or our doctor, they reflect on the time at Hostos, even though they've gone to other schools, 3 or 4 other schools, to get to the places that they wanted to get to. But they still reflect on the time that they spent at Hostos as a very positive experience. Can name professors, name experiences, name the Leadership Academy as being the root of the person that they've become, or part of the root of the person that they've become. And I value that they respect us that much, both Hostos and the Leadership Academy. So I hope one day when you all become very successful in whatever area that is that you're going to go into, that you reflect fondly upon us, Hostos and the Leadership Academy, and that you text me and say, I'm doing this great thing today. Samantha sent me a video she's in Dubai, and she's our diplomat in Dubai, and she was making a presentation at a fashion show as a United States diplomat. And the reason she sent it to me is because back in the day, back in 2008 and 2009, we did fashion shows together at Hostos. And Samantha was in charge. She dragged me kicking and screaming into it, made me get on stage and model some clothes and do all that stuff, but also to have so she was proud of that and referenced it in terms of like her accomplishment as this diplomat, presenting at this fashion show. So please, remember me, the old man sitting in the chair in the office, when you make that great accomplishment, and send me that text message, video, photo, just the warm regards, and I'll be happy to have it.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
I have, let's see. It's been more than 10 years that I've done workshops for the leadership program, the ambassadors, etc. And I have to say, every single time, the people have been just so amazing. And I can't even think of all the different countries people come from all over the world. And at the end, my wonderful posters fell down. So at any rate, I just wanted to say that your experiences, folks, are you can't measure it in terms of monetary value. You will see that you will be more than successful. Because I will say a lot of the different people, like they would, when I was doing the workshop, remember Jason, that what's his name, Gael, he would come it's like he's 3 years past, participating, but he would just come back just to be involved. I would like to say, oh boy, this is amazing. Everybody's like that. I won't say I'd say most people are. And I've seen so many of you folks just excel and become so overwhelmingly successful. So, it's only as good as you are. The energy and attention that you put to this program, it will pay off 1,000-fold, not just 100-fold, over and over. So, you just keep on coming, keep on doing and listening to Jason, because Jason, he is really nurtured, and I know that's why so many are successful. And they still, some of them reach out to me, I don't even, I know you're too busy for me to like let you know, oh yeah, so and so sent me a text, or I saw them on Facebook or whatever. So I'm really feel very blessed that I'm able to do this and to share a little bit of what I know. There's so much more to this. Jason, are they going to do? Are you guys going to be in person anytime soon?
Everything is all over the place. I mean,
I know.
the changes are happening every day. I mean, last Friday we had a change for our mask mandate, um, so that there are no masks required on campus now. There's different things every week, and because we're part of a big university system, the choices aren't necessarily made locally.
Right. Of
Um,
course.
so the workshops will all be virtual because obviously I had to book all the workshops before everything happened.
Mhm.
We probably will do some work on the campus, volunteer work, but not too much. And then we will have some volunteer work outside of the campus, working with local parks and things like that. But
That's good.
yeah, it's still a process. We're still a big institution, and we kind of answer to way too many people. We answer to the city and the state and the university, and so ultimately, no choice is just from Jason. Every choice comes from
Oh,
people
I
who
know.
make a lot more money than I do, and have a lot more power than I'll ever have. But I would love to be in person again. It's just it's probably going
Yeah,
to be next fall
I'm
before.
not just questioning that. I'm just saying that the people that have been in this session, and just from the comments and the willingness to be open and honest and share rich experiences and valuable uh, knowledge and wisdom, that I'm saying, if I can organize it based on where I'm at, what I'm doing, that at some point, once they say, okay, human beings can can like see each other's faces and be, I mean, even if it's 6 feet apart, because I the whole thing of being together, it, what would you say, Jason? Wouldn't you say like it's so much more fun? It's so much fun. I mean, everybody has a fun time, I find. And the feedback is always real positive from folks. I didn't even get to send you the evaluation for this, but I don't really care, whatever. I think the proof is in the pudding, as they say. And so I'm just saying, once this thing gets back on track, you let me know. And no matter where I'm at, I'll try to get back to get these folks so they can really have a real Harmony experience.
Yeah, I think that's probably what we have with a lot of the folks who are coming to visit and doing the workshops. Everybody really likes to be in person and likes to sort of have that hands on and be able to be interactive. And it's very difficult and challenging when you're just looking at boxes. And especially if you can't get on your computer if you're doing it by phone because like there's limitations in the electronic media. There's great stuff about it, right? Because people can be here who are at home taking care of children or are working at this time. But there's also some drawbacks to a lot of the great stuff that we were able to do. I mean, just to give everybody a sense of what Harmony's workshops would be like, they were much more involved in terms of collaborative activities from start to finish. Um, Sally is writing that she had that experience, which is great. And so we would be able to do lots of different team building activities throughout the course of the 2 hours, talk about it, reflect on it, and actually have people, report out to each other how they felt about everything. This is much more complicated. We start doing breakout rooms, and everybody gets all over the place. So it's a little more difficult. But yeah, it would be great to have you do that in person again, Harmony.
Well, I'm just saying that, you're working within a structure. There's nothing you, can do about it. But I'm just saying, take this today for what it's worth. And I think from the comments and the participation level and the willingness to share is, and this the wisdom and insight of these young folks. I'll say young. I feel like I'm young too, but I'm not really so I'm not young. But they're, I think they deserve to have the fun that we have when I do the workshops in person. So just keep that in mind. I know you're in a structure, you know, whatever. Don't worry about paying me, you know. I would just come and do like an hour and a half and just have some fun with them. Because look they really put in some work today. Well, don't you feel that, Jason? The comments and everything they made, right? Over and above.
I muted myself. Yes, I agree. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this picture to myself because I had it on the phone and I don't have it. And here I got it. Let me see if I can project this for everybody so they can get a sense of what it actually looked like. No,
The
of
sun
course it's
shining
not
and
going to read
melting
it.
the adhesive on my things.
Of course it doesn't work. So there you go, electronic media.
Yeah.
But
You try to what is it? Is it what kind of file is it?
well, it's same problem you're
The photo,
having with the Mac.
the
Here's my
Mac.
camera. Can anybody see anything? No, nothing like that. It's
No.
terrible.
Well, why don't
So
you keep
here's what I want to do. I want to invite everybody to come to my office. My office is covered in all these pictures. So you want to see everything? Come visit the office, or you can, if you don't want to come in person, you can sign up for the Facebook page. Everything that we've ever done is up there, and you can find it there, so you can look at those photos. I'll try to get the photos in place for next week.
Are you in the
Anytime.
office on Mondays?
So I'm for those of you that came here a little after we started, I mentioned to everybody that I'm in Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays now in person, 9 to 5. My office is C392, which is at the back of the student lounge. The easiest way to find it is to go to across from the cafeteria to the SGA booth, which is a little brown booth at the end of the bridge, and somebody will usually be there and they can direct you to me, so that you don't have to like look around for numbers, because sometimes it's hard to find my office. I'm in a corner. But anytime you guys would like to come visit, you're more than welcome. Ladies and gentlemen would like to come visit, you're more than welcome. Yes, Harmony.
nothing? These are some posters that I put together. So I don't know if you can see them. They were taped up and they got warm from the sun. So the adhesive melted, so they fell down. So this basically says there are 2 rules for managing stress. Don't sweat the small stuff. And it's all small stuff. So, all right. All right. So are you gonna, I can't remember if I attached the evaluation form. So if you get a chance, that would be great. If not, if they want to fill out some feedback, that would be great.
Yeah, so I have everything. I'll put it into an email and I'll send it to everybody on Monday morning.
Okay.
And I'll remind you to, if you can, to fill out the evaluation form for Harmony, so that she can reflect on what you would do in these particular types of workshops in the future.
Yeah.
And of course, it's very helpful to her. And it also has some of the documents that I was able to share with you and some of the documents that I wasn't able to share with you. So you'll have all of that for practice and purpose.
Yeah.
And I'll send that on Monday morning.
It's great. All right. I didn't even, boy, it's just so weird. It's like, but anyway, I really enjoyed the face-to-face with people. They're so what can I say? It's the sharing that we've done in the small groups has been, in the face-to-face workshops have been, I think people got a lot out of them.
I agree, but it's not to diminish what's happened here. I think that all of you have made major contributions to each other you've shown the true leadership style that we were talking about, right? If Estelle told her story in the chat over and over again, people were like giving her snaps or giving her praise or hands up or claps or whatever it is that we say. And that's part of this process as well, right? Understanding that leaders are nothing if they don't have anybody working with them or following them or working along with them. All leaders are followers, and all followers are leaders in their own time. That's my belief, that everybody has a chance to step up in certain circumstances. Some people are better equipped for certain circumstances than others. Some need to have the experience in order to be ready to handle certain circumstances. But I've always had the view that starting from the very notion of, and many of you mentioned this today, the best leader is a mom. And the mom will always do the best for all of the people who are following her. And so I always value mothers. And at Hostos, we obviously have a lot of moms. And I've always valued them. I was shocked. I spoke to one of my former students who's actually a nurse, and she works in the nursing department. And her son, who used to come to the workshops with her back in 2009, is going to college. And I'm like, wow, that's so amazing. I have pictures of him, doing the workshops with us. And now he's going to college. And so it's transformative. But every leader has their role. Everybody has their opportunity to take on the leadership role and lead others to a place. And it's not about politics, and it's not about status, and it's not about a position. It's about an ideology. It's about a belief in yourself that you can take on a leadership role. And when we do the volunteer projects, everybody has that opportunity to sort of really bounce in there and say, I'm going to lead this part of the activity. There's never like just one major activity where we're just like, okay, somebody has to be in charge. And you'll never find me doing it. I'm always trying to be in the background and try to support you. I always say that I'm kind of the guy who makes sure that the ship doesn't go astray. But whatever that entails, you all design and create the ideas of what this program is and where we go. And as far as people who've come to speak with us, or workshops that we've done, or programming that we've done, volunteering, conferences, all of that has been proposed in general by people like yourselves who joined the program, didn't know exactly what they were getting into, and then all of a sudden realized they had all the power in the world to do some extraordinary stuff, and then started to say, hey, let's do this. And those are also some of my proudest moments, when we did something that had never been done before. That's why we were doing 52 volunteer projects a year, because everybody had their own project that they wanted us to do, so we take them on.
Jason, how can I save the chats? Because I didn't get a chance to read them while I was working.
So I'll send you everything, Harmony.
Okay.
I can send you the links for everything, so you can have
Love
the
it.
video in the chat.
That's great.
So it's about 5:30. I want to honor everybody's time. I want to thank you, Harmony, for being here. Let's give her a round of applause, virtually or otherwise. Thank you for leading us in this
perfect.
discussion,
Thank
and for
you.
giving us ideas on how we can work to keep ourselves healthy and mindful, and help others to also do that. I want to thank everybody who made contributions today, who was here, and even though we started a little bit late, who was patient and hung around. I want to thank you also for everything that you do and everything that you will do. And thanks for listening to me as I told my stories. I probably talked way too much today. I won't have a voice for the rest of the weekend. But that's what it is. And everybody who contributed in the chat, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. I wish you all a good weekend. Hopefully there's not a super snowstorm again that they're talking about. And hopefully, you get some sun and some fresh air, and we'll see you next week.
Can I say one last thing?
Yes, you can.
I was supposed to, usually we do a closing, but in person. So I just want you to walk away with this, and then do whatever you will. Okay. And first, I want to thank everyone for your participation. This was an amazing group of human beings. Awesome. The closure is this. Just go away with this question. This is just for you. How will you prioritize caring for your emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual health. Thank you, everyone. You are wonderful. I appreciate your attention and participation. I'm so sorry about the beginning. I had my laptop set up. The link wasn't working. I don't know. Next time I better register for the course, for the
Thank you,
class.
Harmony.
Thank you,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Many
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
Bernice.
Thank
Bye,
gracious.
you.
Leonard.
Thank
Bye,
you,
Chris.
Bye.
Susan.
Bye,
Okay.
Estelle.
Bye.
Bye,
Blessings to
Sonny Joe.
everybody.
Bye, Annie. Bye,
Bye,
Abby.
Sally.
Have a
Bye,
good weekend,
Sashi.
everyone.
Bye, Leighton. Bye,
I can't even
Francine.
keep up with
Bye,
everybody.
Bye, all. Thank
Sally.
you so
Bye,
much.
Estelle. What's
Bye,
that?
Bye.
Oh, sorry.
Francine. Bye, Annie.
Bernice,
Bye,
bye. Thank
Junior.
you all.
Bye, Bridget. Bye, everybody. See you next week.
Okay. Thank you
Bye,
for sharing
Sally.
your hearts.
See you
Thank
next
you.
week. Bye bye.